Assalamualaikum dear students, this is your English language teacher Abid Bajwa, and in today's lecture we'll be talking about English language paper 1 directed writing. And the particular thing or the special thing about today's lecture, we'll not be discussing how to attempt this paper, but we'll be talking about some of the essentials that are needed to score the maximum marks in your directed writing part. And for that thing I have selected marking schemes standards. And dear students, you must know that there are two basic requirements that every student needs to fulfill if he wants to get maximum marks in directed writing. And the examiner always awards you marks on the basis of the fulfillment or of those two categories. And these two requirements are named as, the number one is task fulfillment and the number two is language. Over here I just want to bring into your knowledge that in directed writing there are two parts. The first part is called in paper 1 there are two parts. The first part is called directed writing, and it brings you 30 marks, and those 30 marks are awarded to the students on the basis of two different standards that the students need to fulfill. The first one is called task fulfillment and the second one is called the language. When we talk about the second part of this paper 1, this is called composition writing, in which 5 different essays or topics are given, namely argumentative writing, descriptive writing and narrative writing, and that part brings you 30 marks as well. And the criteria for the marks over there in part 2 is called, there are two categories in that one as well. The first one is called content and the second one is language again. But in today's lecture we'll be talking about directed writing part, in particular task fulfillment, the first category of the standards of the marking, and the second one is called the language. So let's start our today's lecture. For this lecture I have selected a paper from October-November 2019. First of all I will just want to read it for you, the task. So please keep staying and just read with me. Recently, I'm just going to highlight for you so that you can read it. Recently, 2 of your relatives who live abroad, they came to stay with your family for a week. This was a very happy event for everyone. You decide to write to your aunt who lives in another city to tell her about this visit. Write your letter. So this is going to be a letter on which we'll be talking about in particular reference with the task fulfillment and language. You must include the following. So these are the bullet points the examiner has given you: who the relatives are and when they came to visit. First bullet point. Details about what you and your relatives did together during the visit. What your relatives enjoyed most about their visit and why. And the additional instructions which are given at the end are: cover all these 3 points above in detail. You should make your letter interesting and informative. Start your letter, dear aunt, and remember to supply a suitable ending. Dear students, just to remind you that in today's lecture I will not be giving you suggestions how to attempt this, because if you want to know those things, you can go to my previous videos and you can watch those previous videos in which I have given a detailed instructions and direction how to attempt a directed writing part. And in today's lecture we will be only talking about the criteria of marking regarding task fulfillment and language. So right now on your screen you can see that I have opened the Cambridge O-level marking schemes for this particular directed writing task. So let's move on to its next illustration. That is, I'm just going to highlight for you. It says task fulfillment that will bring you 15 marks. As I cleared it earlier, that 15 marks are allocated to you for task fulfillment and 15 are given to you for your language. So if you will just see this marking scheme criteria closely, you'll come to know that there are different bands which are scored. You see on the top there is band 5 and then band 4, band 3, band 2, and in the same way we have band 1 and then band 0. So in this way the examiners, they categorize your assigned work or the whatever you have written in response to that task, and they give you marks according to this criteria. So let's start just to give you an example, or just to give you a review. I'll be talking about band 5 that brings you 13 to 50 marks out of a total of 15 marks. So what are the component, what are the examiner's expectations that if a student wants to score 13 to 15 marks out of 15 in total? Number one is very good understanding of purpose. Very good understanding of purpose. In my previous lectures, I have time and again cleared you that all the students who are going to attempt a directed writing part, they must be very clear what their purpose of writing is. Remember the part in which part P stands for purpose, A stands for audience, and C, clear awareness of the specified situation and audience. So if you'll see the P in part, P-A-R-T, part, the first the acronym that I shared in the last video, P is purpose and then the A is audience. Clear awareness of the specified situation and audience. Knowing about the purpose and the audience you are going to write will help you justify your language, and you will be using your vocabulary, sentence structure and parts of speech keeping in mind who your audience are. And the second thing is text type entirely appropriate. Let's just imagine for a moment that if you are going to write to a principal, but unfortunately you have not selected the sentence structure and the vocabulary appropriately, which is right to his status, unfortunately you will not be able to get good marks on it. So make sure the examiner is expecting you to write the entirely appropriate text. Number 4 is all required points developed in detailed, fully amplified and well organized, as this problem is quite common in most of the students genre, that many of the students, they just, when they come to the bullet points, they do not justify all of them. So you can see it over here in the marking scheme. It says that all required points must be developed in detailed, fully amplified means fully explained. And then the fifth one is given information well used to justify personal opinion and interpretation. Just note the first word, given information. As it is directed writing part, when I say given information, means all that information that's been given in that assigned task part 1. I personally think that it becomes a must for all the candidates to discuss at least all those things, at least touch them when it's not a bullet point, but you should bring into your writing. And the last one is tone and register entirely appropriate. These two things, these two elements, tone and register, are quite close to the first two, audience and purpose, because they are closely interlinked. So I would suggest you to go to my previous lectures again and then watch what these things are, because I've explained them in details. In the same way, for those students who will get 10 to 12 marks, they will be put into band 4, and you can see obviously if they are going to get 10 to 12 marks out of 15, so there are some of the exceptions, like see, it says good understanding of purpose. I just want you to compare this first point, good understanding of purpose, with the first point in the first box. It says very good understanding of purpose. So see, so somehow in the second band scorage of 4 where you get 10 to 12 marks, there can be some shortcomings. Now just want to compare the things and make it easier for you. I'm not going to read all of these criteria for you, so I just want you to come and read the last or the given one, band 1, in which the candidate will get 1 to 3 marks, so you will be in a better position to understand them clearly. It says misunderstanding of purpose. If you are unable to understand your purpose of writing, unfortunately you will be given 1 to 3 marks. Confusion as to the specified situation and audience. If the candidates are unfamiliar with the situation or the audience in which they are going to write, they will not be able to write a good piece of composition, and they will not be able to get good marks. The third is little evidence of specified text type. Specified text type means they are unable to give you the students are unable to use good vocabulary, convincing sentence structure, impressive writing styles, and parts of speech. None of the required points are addressed properly. So 3 bullet points are given. If the students are not given in proper direction, they will not be able to score it. Given information misunderstood or irrelevant. Tone may be inappropriate. So all these things are responsible to avoid you 1 to 3 marks, and you will be given you will be put into band 1. So this is all from the task fulfillment, the marking scheme for Cambridge O-Levels English Language 1123 past paper of October-November 2019. Now I am just moving or scrolling down towards the language part, in which again equal marks, that is 15 marks, are awarded to the students, and they are given different bands depending upon those things. So as you can see that it starts from band 8, band 7, band 6, and it goes right through to band 0. In the same way, because it will not be possible for me to discuss each and every point given or band given in this marking scheme, so I'll be just discussing the first one and the last one. In the in the language part, yes, in the band 8, those students who will get 14 to 15 marks out of 15, the examiner expects the following criteria. Number 1, highly accurate writing, apart from very occasional slips. So you can have an idea here. Even those students who are able to get 14 to 15 marks out of 15, they are also expected to do some occasional slips. This occasional slip can be grammar, or it can be some parts of speech, or it can be a spelling mistakes. Number 2 is sentence structure varied for particular effect. So it is not a recommended way that you follow the same writing scheme in which you are going to write short sentences only, or you are going to write long sentences only. No, varied sentence structure or particular effects is essential. Verb forms largely correct and appropriate tensor consistently used. So if you will just consider this point closely, you will come to know that over here the examiner is expecting from the candidates to use correct grammar. So if your tenses are right, if your grammar is perfect, you will be able to fulfill this requirement as well. Vocabulary must be wide and precise. When I say wide and precise, means you must have a bank of vocabulary words that you can easily utilize when you are writing in particular reference with your audience and situation and purpose. Punctuation must be accurate and helpful. When we say punctuation, all the students must get familiar with the parts of speech. When we say the punctuation comes to full stop, comma, semicolon, colon. So you must know where and how they are utilized when you are writing a task you are writing a directed writing part. Spelling must be accurate apart from very occasional slip. So you see, again, very occasional slips are bearable. Paragraphs have unity. They are linked and show evidence of planning. So over here in particular, what he is talking about, he is just giving us a gesture or an indication that all the paragraphs must be interlinked and relevant, in other words coherent. So this is the requirement from the examiner that you need to follow. I will just like to read the second one, in which the student is likely to get 12 to 13 marks. Over here I'll just read it fast. Accurate writing, occasional errors are either slips or caused by ambition. Sentence structures show some variation to create some natural fluency. Occasional slips in verb forms or tenses information, but sentence consistent and clear throughout. Vocabulary must be precise enough to convey intended shades of meaning. Punctuation accurate and generally helpful. Spelling nearly always accurate. Paragraphs have unity. They are usually linked and show some evidence of planning. So see, I have just given you two top bands, band 8 and band 7, in the category of language, so that you might get advantage of these when you are going to attempt a directed write band. Now, just to give you a better idea, I am scrolling down and taking you to the band 1 or band 2. The students who will get 2 to 3 marks out of 15. So I am on band 2. It says sense usually disferable. There is no direction of your writing, but some errors will be multiple, for that is requiring the reader to reread and reorganize. Meaning may be partly hidden by density of linguistic error. Unlikely to be more than a few accurate sentences, however simple in the whole essay. In band 1, where a student will get only 1 mark out of 15, scripts almost entirely or entirely impossible to recognize as pieces of English writing. Whole sections make no sense at all. Where occasional patches of relative clarity are evident, 1 mark should be given. So for some students it looks that there won't be any candidates who can do this or who can be dropped in it, but believe you me that sometimes there are some students who knowingly or unknowingly commit some mistakes and then they are dropped into this category. So I think we have done with these two things. From in the special particular reference with directed writing, I have shown you the two categories and the standards of the marking which examiner expect from the students. In the coming days I'll be talking about the same for the second part of paper 1, composition, and I'll be just giving you some briefing so that you might get advantage and you might improve your you can improve your skills for directed writing in paper 1. I hope you have achieved the maximum knowledge or the intended knowledge I wanted to deliver. If you have any question, you can contact me, you can email me. My email is abidbajwa@hotmail.com, or you can WhatsApp me at 0333 610 1052. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.